Welcome to the Monster Mile, live from Dover, Delaware. This is race number 4 of the ARCA Menards series, and tonight it's the General Tire 150. Look at Miles the Monster looking so mean, but it's certainly not looking mean outside. Look how beautiful it is. Sunshine, blue sky. It's a little crisp though, about 56 degrees. And a little breezy, but up here in the booth, it is nice and warm. And we're so happy that you're joining us on this Friday evening. I'm Jamie Little, he's Phil Parsons, and the tall guy in the middle, Mr. Bowtie Man, that's Austin Cindric. So happy to have you. Now, I've heard you talk about this racetrack and say it's one of your favorites. How so?
Well, I think there's no other racetrack that we get to go to on the circuit that feels as fast as Dover does. I'll never forget the first time I came here, the sensation of speed. You have the elevation change, a huge drop into the corner, your stomach drops out, you feel the banking in the center of the corner, you're committing to wide open throttle before you even ever exit the corner, and then it flattens out again, you're spinning the tires on exit, driving out to the outside wall. So all these drivers are really experiencing that for maybe some for the first time, and it makes it a little tricky to race sometimes, but the sensation of speed is second to none.
Yeah, and I've been coming here for years, and I would go on the racetrack for my first 2 laps and come off the racetrack and be out of breath. I would forget to breathe because it's so amazing, the speed sensation like Austin was talking about. It's one of the, if you like to drive a race car, you like to drive them here.
Well, there's a lot of drivers in the field tonight experiencing this place for the very first time. We have a stacked field tonight, Phil.
We really do. We, in addition to our regular drivers, we have 4 drivers that weren't old enough to race last week at Talladega. They're under the age of 18. The first is our pole sitter, already a 5-time winner in the National Series. William Sawallisch set another new track record today. And then to his outside, you've got Brent Cruz. He's always been a winner this week. Actually won over the weekend at in a Cars Tour race. He won last year in the ARCA National Series, second in his debut. And then how about Gio Ruggiero? He won a Trans Am race last week, his second time ever in a Trans Am car. He won the race. He was second in his debut earlier this year at Phoenix in the National Series. He's going to be strong. And Connor Zilic, he's been all over the country racing and winning. He won the 24 Hours of Daytona. He was second in his debut last year at Watkins Glen in ARCA Menards Series. And he sat on the pole and finished in the top 5 in his Truck Series debut this year at COTA. This young man knows how to win, knows how to get it done, whether it's a short race like here or a long race like 24 hours.
You know, all I heard there, Phil? Winners.
Win.
We have a lot of winners.
All of them.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out later tonight. Well, we talk about Dover and all the uniqueness of it, but it is one of only 2 concrete racetracks that we go to in the ARCA Menards series. But fun little fact, it hasn't always been concrete. No,
it was asphalt for most of the early part of my career. And Austin talks about the transitions as you drive in the corner. When they concreted this racetrack, they took the bottom 8 feet of racetrack and made it apron. So the transition over the hump into turn 1 and turn 3 was way more than it is now. You actually felt like the 4 tires left the ground.
So what you're saying is you got to drive on it when it was even cooler.
Yes, even cooler.
Then.
It looked so much bigger as well. And another fun fact, there's a horse race track inside Dover Motor Speedway. Pretty awesome. Well, we talk about these different styles of racetracks that we go to, racing 3 straight times. Last week, we were at Talladega, this week, Dover, and we talked about the youngsters. Connor Zilic is one to watch. He's our Suchi Fast Track Spotlight this afternoon. 17 years old, anything he gets in, it seems like he wins.
Yeah, he's done such a great job this year. It was amazing when he became the youngest driver ever to win the 24 Hours of Daytona in his class. And then he went to Sebring and did the same thing, won the 12 Hours of Sebring. Austin said that was even more impressive, he thought.
Absolutely. Look at this. Gone to victory lane a couple of times, trying to get it done here in the ARCA Menards series for the first time. We'll have to wait and see. 150 miles coming up. Let's go trackside now. 24 drivers ready to go. Let's fire those engines.
Dover Motor Speedway. This is the moment you have been waiting for. Welcome on behalf of General Tire, Justin Bennett.
Drivers, start your engines.
Well, if the beautiful blue skies and sunshine, I don't think we have to worry about rain tonight. But if we did, what would the drivers do?
I'd say rainy day activity is probably just journaling, reading, maybe painting or doing something creative like that.
Well, I do race mud trucks, so if it's raining, obviously that's pretty good for that. So we hate the rain at the oval tracks, but we love to see it come for the mud races.
If I have something to do at the shop, I'll just go to the shop or I'll go to the gym. But if not, I'll just shut my phone off and go back to bed.
I actually hate the rain because it makes me not want to do anything. I like the sun, but yeah, I'd probably take a nap, like just chill out. I feel like that's the rain vibe.
The gym is a good option just to get some energy out because you can't do much outside on a rainy day. Or just watch TV at home and try to relax as much as I can.
I like the rainy days. You have your sunny days, but I also enjoy the rainy days, especially colder weather, fall time, something, pour up a nice coffee, just relax.
I'm a big movie guy. Action movies is a big deal. I like James Bond movies. It's probably my favorite action films, but anything like that, I'm pretty locked into for sure on rainy days.
The different personalities there, everything from going to the gym to just wanting to chill or take a nap. What side are you on, Austin?
I'm definitely on the take a nap side, 100%. Gym has to happen every day, but definitely taking a nap.
How about you, Phil?
I'm not doing the painting. I may go to the gym, I may take a nap, but I'm probably not going to paint.
Well, that was something certainly different. Got to give it up for Amber. She's very creative. Well, earlier today, we had a little practice session, and then the General Tire Pole Award was earned by this young man, William Sawalich. Every time he is behind the wheel, we talk about him a lot, and for the 8th time in his career, he gets it done, and he will lead the field to green. And young Brent Cruz will start on the outside front row. So we take a look at our General Tire 150 starting grid. You'll see it on the left-hand side there in the pylon. As we do that, how about we dial up our pole sitter?
It looked like he was having some sort of an issue. They had another steering wheel that they were ready to give him, but he rolled on. Let's try him. He may be having an issue with his radio. Hey, William Sawalich, this is Phil Parsons, Jamie Little, and Austin Citrick in the box booth. You got a copy? We'll try. We've got another channel that we can try. Hey, William Sawalich, this is a box booth. You got a copy? He may be having some issues, and so let's let him go. If he's working on his radio, he may have another radio in the car that he can try to use. So we'll see what happens.
All right, how about our race analysis, Phil?
Yeah, this race is 150 laps, 150 miles. We're going to have 2 race breaks for 5 minutes each, where these drivers and teams can change tires and fuel. That's going to be on or near lap 50 and lap 100. And Jake Finch won this race last year, and it was an East race only. Now we have a combination East and National Series race.
How about the track description, Austin?
Yeah, track description. Obviously, Dover, the monster mile, 1 mile long, 24 degrees of banking. It's a fairly square racetrack, meaning both ends are very similar, but the concrete, that's what makes this place special. You're going to watch that rubber build all throughout the race.
We have 2 pit reporters covering all the action tonight, Heather DeBow and Mamba Smith. Good evening, Heather.
Good evening, Jamie. For Christian Rose, his dream of racing in NASCAR started right here at Dover Motor Speedway when he played former D1 baseball for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. They used to play right across the street, and after those games, he'd take his jersey off, walk across the street, and watch the races right here at this track. Now, fast forward to 5 years later, here he is leading the points in the National ARCA Series, and I'd say he hit a home run in chasing his dream. Mamba Smith?
Yeah, normally you think Indianapolis when you hear the name Andretti, but Marco Andretti is starting 10th in the number 17 Chevrolet this afternoon. I asked Marco earlier, hey man, why do you love stock car racing? He goes, because I love the dogfight with the rest of the competitors. Looking forward to seeing the 17 make his way toward the front. Jamie?
Yes, and Marco Andretti, he's had an interesting year, whether it's in a truck or an ARCA Menards car. He just wants a clean race tonight, Austin. All right, we have 2 onboards. We'll be bringing you the awesome action.
Here's our pole sitter right here, William Sawalich. He's got the best view in the field on the front row with General Tire on board.
We're also going to ride along with Connor Zilich. This is the 28 car. This is the Sioux Chief Fast Track on board. Connor Zilich looking to make his way to the front. He's starting from the 6th spot.
We'll have to follow up on that issue, perhaps, with the 18. Obviously, you need the steering wheel. You need to communicate, use the button, press to talk, and maybe he is having a radio issue. But we'll figure that out. He looks like he's fine right now as They get ready to come around for the green flag.
Yeah, to change the steering wheel, that's the push to talk button is hooked to the steering wheel. So I would think if he has an issue, it's maybe that they can't hear him. He may be able to hear his spotter and his crew chief.
All right, William Sawalich, Brent Cruz on the front row, side by side. Joe Gibbs Racing versus Venturini Motorsports. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Dover.
You saw William spin his tires a little bit there getting up to green. It's a tricky restart zone due to the fact that you're kind of coming out of that hill, as we talked about, as you round out gets the lead there off the corner, and got Gio fighting for second here.
Great side-by-side battle for second right now, the 55 and the 20. Brent Cruz, Gio Ruggiero, I think we're going to be talking about that quite a bit. The 20, by the way, led every single lap last week. Of course, it was a different driver, though.
Ooh, look at that big wiggle out of the 55 of Brent Cruz.
So these guys are sliding around a lot, and what's probably different from their first time on track is we had an Xfinity Series practice and qualifying, and this track has a lot more rubber as he
sideways
slide. That's the thing with this racetrack is you have really temperature sensitive, really rubber sensitive, and unfortunately for Giro, it's only going to get worse as they keep running laps here.
Good battle. That's Christian Rose, our point leader. The 32 on the inside of Chris Wright. The 15, that is a battle right outside the top 10.
Great job by the 15 of Chris Wright last week and had his best career finish of second at Talladega. He's running full-time, running for points, and he told me it makes me race a little bit differently. I have to think of the big picture. I'm not just jumping in to go try to win a race and jump back out and hand the reins over to somebody else.
Great shot of the 17 of Marco Andretti, running right behind Chris. Marco right now in the 13th spot. The issue already for Tanner Reif. That's a teammate to that 17 of Marco Andretti. Tanner from the West Coast, going to run a number of these National Series and East Series races.
Cook Racing Technologies, they were teammates in Phoenix as well, and weird thing happened that the two cars got damaged in the hauler getting to the racetrack, so they unloaded, had a lot of issues, we're behind. I think things have gone a little more smoothly for Marco Andretti so far today.
And we've already got our leaders actually catching some lap traffic here. The speed differential for kind of some of the tail end cars is a lot, and it's a really difficult track to navigate lap traffic, and it's going to certainly play a role into the top 5 here as kind of a nice little blanket over, you know, second to sixth really, and I think that's going to play a big role in some ways that passes are going to be made.
One thing I was really happy to see when practice started, when you had faster cars going around slower cars, they were able to use that second lane and make some good time here. It wasn't like there's only rubber on the bottom. They can use that second lane just like they're doing right there.
See what happened here to Tanner Reif, the 42.
You see him, he's right behind his teammate Marco Andretti.
Yeah, and you were talking about being able to use the second lane. Well, unfortunately, he was about in the third, and no one's been up there probably since the Cup race here 365 days ago. So not a lot of grip, and obviously a bit of damage there. He's on pit road.
And this racetrack is a little bit different than a lot of racetracks we go to. You actually will get back in the throttle in the center of the corner and then have to pedal the throttle up off the corner to make sure that front end's underneath you or the back end's underneath you because of the transitions up off the corner. You can get loose here. When you think you're straight on the straightaway, your car will still get loose.
Yeah, it's a funny racetrack because, as you mentioned, you kind of have to pedal the car as we go on board with William. He's going to dive down into the corner, back off the pedal a little bit, and then this corner is so long, but he's committing to throttle, trying to get full throttle before he can ever really see the exit. And as you can see, there's the speed differential of some of the lap cars, but that's what you fight here. It really does feel like you're driving in almost a square, but because the corners are just as long as the straightaways, it feels like.
Well, let's get an update on our leader, William Sawalich. Heather.
And we saw at the beginning of the race that they were trying to switch the steering wheel for him because the push to talk button was not working. So currently, William can hear his team, but they cannot hear him if he's giving feedback. So Austin, Phil, what kind of challenges is he going to face to give them feedback on what he's fighting in the car?
Well, luckily for William, there's not a whole lot of talking you can really get away with at this racetrack. This is a tough one to come off of the steering wheel, and I mean you're kind of white knuckling for a little while, especially as Phil mentioned that first stint in practice. It's going to be the same for me tomorrow. So it's going to take your breath away a little bit, and you're kind of going to have to get used to things. But the feedback will be important for the team. Obviously, they don't have, they could probably stick somebody's head in the window under the stop and be able to kind of understand what the car is doing. But obviously, you want to be able to hear your driver at all times.
Yeah, they'll have 5 minutes at that break to talk to him and digest what he's saying, and then make a change if they need to. I don't think they need to change a lot the way that car is running.
Absolutely.
Working lap number 12 here at Dover Motor Speedway. It's all William Sawalich out front. Gio Ruggiero working his way around lap traffic. Beautiful evening. Glad you're joining us. Well, while we were away, we had our first Reese's Sweet Move nominee. Let's take a look. This was a close one for our leaders.
It certainly was.
There's a lot going on here.
We talk about the disparity in speed of the lap cars. Watch, here's our leader, the 18 of Sawalich. He goes to the inside of Greg Van Alst. Then Cody Dennison, the 06, comes down the racetrack. The 18 decides to go to the outside, and then the 20 of Ruggiero goes by on the inside. Sawalich not only lost the lead, he lost 2.5 seconds on the stopwatch.
Yeah, it was great damage control. It's a little bit tough for William to figure out what to do here. He gets a little aero tight, tries to get to the outside, and now he's just trying not to get into the wall. So you recognize he's got a few different ways to get back up to speed here. Looking at lap times, you know, he and Ruggiero are the class of the field right now. So they're running similar lap times. So get this break, and maybe he's got an opportunity to do the same with the lap traffic.
Got to be a nominee, right, Jamie?
Absolutely. That's our first one for sure. You could visit arcaracing.com on Monday to see who the Reese's Sweet Move of the race winner will be. I have a feeling we're going to have a few more, though, tonight.
I hope so. Anyway, this has been a good battle since the green flag dropped. LeVar Scott there in the 6th, and Carson Kvapil in the 82. Carson's only making his second ever ARCA Menards Series start. He made his debut at Kansas last year. Nice run through the center of the corner for Carson. Finished second in that race at Kansas, also doing double duty, running the Xfinity race for Junior Motorsports, and he's going to try to grab that spot, but he's got a lap car in his way.
LeVar Scott in the 6th, just one of 7 drivers in the field who've ever raced here before. I know having laps here last year really helped him, but he said it doesn't help the nerves for those first couple of laps at this place. It doesn't matter how many times you run here. It just gets your heart racing.
And it's so different for these young drivers now. I talked to so many in the garage here that hadn't been here before, but they had spent time in this simulator. And I'm not talking about in your bedroom simulator. I'm talking about a multi-million-dollar manufacturer simulator to run some laps at Dover.
Well, that is the difference in the field. You talked to one driver, Greg Van Alst. What did he do to prepare for here? Well, he went on iRacing and got 10 laps in. You talked to the Venturini Motorsports kids. They've been in the Toyota simulator this week working on Dover. Wow, there's cars all over the racetrack. Amber Balkan going backwards. Look out.
Yeah, this lap traffic's really making it difficult for these guys to kind of have some natural racing, because I think Carson Kvapil is actually a bit faster here than LeVar Scott, and they keep catching up to Brent Cruz as he catches lap cars. So this pass has been going on for a long time, and he's obviously put himself in the preferred lane and trying to be able to get this pass done. But that was a close moment going into turn 3.
Scott's doing a nice job hanging in there on the outside, drives it hard down in the corner.
And this is where it gets really difficult. You see Carson get a little bit loose there. He's got a car in his door, and there's a bit of a slippery spot. You know, the sun's shining right down there in the exit of turn 4. So we got a caution on the speedway.
Caution is out for the first time here at Dover. 27 laps in, 123 laps to go here. Is that perhaps
31 car?
Rita Goulet, they had some issues in inspection this morning. They had an engine problem. I think they worked right up until race time to get that car on the grid, was not able to practice or qualify. She's been shown a number of laps down now. She's 25 laps down.
So those issues continue as they bring the field together.
Tremendous pace that these leaders have been setting. Only 10 cars on the lead lap right now.
Well, before we came on the air, we were talking about the comparison to Xfinity and just how fast these race cars are.
Looks like we're going to get a good shot of this spin here down on the apron, the 31 car. No harm, no foul. It's always a good feeling when you're in front of that race and you want that car to stay on the bottom.
Little contact there with the 11. That's Zachary Tinkle.
Rita does a nice job keeping that car out of the inside wall.
All right, we're under caution for the first time here for the ARCA Menards Series. Gio Ruggiero is your leader. We welcome you back to Dover Motor Speedway for the ARCA Menards series. Race number 4 on the season, 118 laps remaining here. So our Bounty Rookie Spotlight is a young driver. We've mentioned he's driving the 55 for Venturini Motorsports, 16-year-old from Oklahoma City. It's Brent Cruz. He's another one. No matter what he drives, Phil, Austin, this is a kid to watch.
Yeah, he won last week in the Cars Tour. Very, very competitive series. And, you know, he won last year in the National Series on the dirt in Springfield, Illinois. Ran well on the road course at Watkins Glen. And he was the champion last year at Trans Am TA2. So a very, very multi-talented young man.
Racing against one of his best friends, Connor Zilic, in the field.
Should be a pretty interesting restart here. Got some used tires, and I feel like this outside lane is going to get a better launch. You know, we saw a little bit of tire spin from the bottom, so should be interesting to see how these guys refire here with this clean racetrack.
Let's see how Gio moved him up the hill too.
Yeah, first restart. Green flag is in the air for Gio Ruggiero.
Problem there for Brent Cruz.
LeVar Scott moves into third. Connor Zilic fourth, and you called it, the 55 with an issue. Just talked about Brent Cruz. Something happened on the restart. Will he make it around in time?
Yeah, slow down the middle of the backstretch. I think maybe a transmission on the restart.
Yeah, what if he can't get out of a gear or into high gear?
Got it hung in 2 gears or something like that. Remember, these are not the transmissions or transaxles like you guys run on Sundays. These are the old style four-speed transmissions.
And he makes it down pit road safely. We stay green. Here's what happened.
Everything's good so far. It looks like it just never went.
Well, he was having trouble keeping up, so I think he knew he had a problem of some kind. Maybe he got stuck in third, and that's why it's hard to say.
He did a really nice job of getting out of the way not to cause an incident. Heather, what's going on with the 55?
Well, for the 55 of Brent Cruz, he just said that he has no power in that race car. They told him to try to recycle the master power. Right now, the team going to work to see what the issue is.
Unfortunate, certainly was somebody that we were watching tonight, perhaps for the victory. But meanwhile, great battle up here, all over the top 6, I'd say.
Carson Quappo has been trying to make this pass, I feel like, for the last 15 minutes. And he just gets squeezed by another lap car. I didn't even think we had caught up to lap cars yet. But he still gets it done. That was a hairy situation. Good heads-up driving by both of those guys.
Carson Quappo gets around LeVar Scott for third. Quapple's just, he's one of those kids. Dale Jr. has been so big on him, has talked about him. Now finally he gets his opportunity, goes out in the Xfinity Series at Martinsville of all places and finishes third. So expecting big things from him as he's running double duty this weekend.
Yeah, like you said, it'll be a great experience for him to get these laps, see how this racetrack evolves, because that Xfinity Series race tomorrow is going to be another challenge, another step up for sure. So I think he's going to really appreciate this track time into making the most out of that opportunity tomorrow.
I was talking to Carson and his dad, Travis, down in the garage area this morning, and they were talking about how important they felt like this race was going to be for that Xfinity situation for Carson.
Let's get more on Carson Mamba.
Carson Quappo is making his way to the front, everybody. Watch out for this number 82 Chevrolet. He said to the team, I'm just a little free before that last caution. He has Tyler Reddick, second spotter, Greg Stump spotting for him. They are working their way, trying to find more speed. Jamie?
Thanks, Mamba. Yes, he is doing a great job wheeling that thing in third right now. And I'm looking down the board here, 7th. Tony Breidinger is making up some ground. And, you know, she ran here last year, ran top 10 the entire race. Said she loves this place, loves the challenge of it. She was, I saw her in the garage this morning. She was sitting in her race car, and she had just put a new seat in, a seat that she ran in a truck race last year. And she was showing me some areas that they added a little more foam on the right side of the headrest, between the legs so your knees don't hit, just for different racetracks, different comforts.
Well, you definitely need that comfort around here. Talk about having some more headrest foam. Just, you know, the G's really pull your head over, pull your whole body over throughout the corner. So being able to have something that keeps you a little more comfortable, gets you a little more relaxed throughout the lap is definitely something that's going to help the stamina.
And it pulls you down in the seat too as you drive down these corners. The centrifugal force here is really tremendous. That wants to push your head outside the car on the right side. That's why that headrest is so important here.
Tony Breidinger told me that after Talladega, she stayed an extra day and she gave rides to people that won. They had some kind of giveaway through Raising Cane's her main sponsor, and she gave him rides at the racetrack. Then she flew to LA for some Maybelline stuff and Toyota, so she's all over the place.
Meanwhile, we got Carson Quapple. He's run down second place. William Sawalich with this lap traffic kind of help setting up a pick for him. And Phil and I have been watching lap times too. Carson's been faster than these guys. He's, as Mamba said, he feels good about his car. It does look a little bit free, but he's able to really get on that line and stay disciplined. And he's making up some ground while doing it.
So the 55 of Brent Cruz, who lost power, came down pit road. They swapped a battery out.
Yeah, that will take him out of contention totally for the win.
Wall here.
So Gio Ruggiero continues to lead here. Made his ARCA Menards Series national debut at Phoenix, running here for the second time. I think he had another sweet move of the race.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of sweet moves here with a disparity in
Not every
speed.
10 laps at this rate.
Yeah.
Here he is,
right
number
there.
20.
He's going to go right between these two lap cars.
That's the leader. That's the leader for sure.
Nice job.
You see the 18 as Sawalich got held up just a bit by that lap car on the outside.
Tell you what, Connor Zilisch probably thought he was done with multi-class racing. This is about like it. I mean, this is wild, but it's good practice as far as making decisions. It's just, I don't know if the spotters thought they were going to have to work this hard at the lap traffic today.
And I'd love to see people pass, though. I don't have that big a problem with it because, you know, you have so many agendas out here. There are guys out here like we've talked about, Gio and Sawalich and Quapple. These guys that are fighting as we have a great battle for second. Unfortunately, the 42 of Reif is going to be in the way of Quapple. But then we have other people here. We talked about it at Talladega, Jamie, how people just love the sport and love to be here. And so I think we have two different styles here.
The lifers, and you, whoa, gosh, another close one there. Great battle for second. Quapple trying to get around William Sawalich and take that second spot. They got their eye on Greg Van Alst in the 35. Oh, wide, a little bit of contact. They all keep it straight.
Greg was trying to get by the 0-3 of Alex Clubb at the same time. Close situation for Sawalich. Getting very close to the race break here in another lap or so.
We'll have two race breaks. One at or around lap 50 is where we are right now, and another one at or around lap 100. They'll have 5 minutes to work on their race cars, make adjustments. They could take fuel, take tires. So Gio Ruggiero making a statement so far here. Led 33 laps. William Sawalich, the other leader of the night, 16 laps, and the caution is out for the first break of the evening. Gio Ruggiero's been tough. These boys are liking it. They like that popcorn. LeVar Scott, a lot of those t-shirts in the field. Pit stops coming up next. Happy that you're joining us. So our first of two breaks that we'll have, 5 minutes to work on the race cars. As you see, these are the procedures.
Yeah, once everyone gets in their pit box, they will start the clock. You'll have 5 minutes. You have 4 crew members over the wall, and you can change tires and add fuel. Just can't do it at the same time. And they will restart in the order that they came down pit road unless they have a penalty or they miss the clock.
And of course, they can make adjustments that they need as well. And of course, this is cost saving. You know, you get to the other national series, the Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. It costs a lot of money to be competitive with your pit crews. So this kind of keeps costs at a minimum.
Yeah, for a truck or an Xfinity race, a pit crew can cost as much as $10,000 per event. So I think it's a great move by the ARCA Menards officials to have these non-competitive pit stops like this.
There's Jason Ratcliffe.
Yeah, Matt Ross, the crew chief, talking there. Obviously, that's a push-to-talk button is what Jason has in his hand. So they will work on that during this break, and I'm sure he will be able to communicate after this break. But you can reach your head in the window and find out what they were talking about. Heather.
And we see here Gio Ruggiero, who's running in that second position currently. He's really happy with that race car. All good, no complaints whatsoever. And Shannon Rush, when I talked to him earlier today, of course, that's his crew chief, said, our objective today is to win. And he said, the driver I have behind the wheel, he's an assassin. He's so disciplined behind the wheel. It's actually amazing. So the 20 car looking good so far. Mamba?
Carson Quapple is up to third, putting on a clinic, trying to make his way through the lap traffic. He's just a little free, and he says it gets worse from center off to the exit, so he's looking to tighten up just a little bit to make some more forward drive. Heather?
And for William Swalich, we talked about earlier how he has an issue with his radio with the push-to-talk button. So what he's been doing to tell the team his handling issues is he's been putting a hand on the door if he's loose or on the roof if he's tight. We haven't seen him make any movements in there. The team telling him right now to make sure the steering wheel is straight. He's going to then drop the window net. We saw Jason Ratcliffe with that extra radio cord. So they're going to go to work to see if they can fix the issues here on the 18 during this stop. Mamba?
And the number 28, Connor Zilic, we've heard the name all year long in victory lane. He is trying to learn this week at Dover Motor Speedway. He's a little free, just like his teammate, Carson Quapple. He is looking to take all the sim work that he's worked with Josh Wise, to victory lane here. Jamie?
Josh Wise is a beast in what they do in that program in Chevrolet, working with these drivers, getting them up to snuff and great conditioning. We'll see if the 18 got their issues handled and if he'll be able to communicate on the radio like you need to. Stay with us. We'll be racing after this.
Yeah.
Football guy at all, Austin?
We got the first defensive play last night.
Yes, we did. I know you like the Colts.
How about my Lions?
You guys had a good year.
Yeah, they got a defensive player as well.
I was hoping we get Brock Bowers, if I'm being honest. I like a good tight end. Yeah.
All right, Heather, we saw him go to work on that steering wheel, the 18. What happened?
Well, they tried to give him the new steering wheel. They also changed the harness that we saw for the push-to-talk, and it's still not working. So they think it might be the helmet, so they might have to go round 2 at this next break to try to fix this radio issue. But until then, they're going to go back to telling him, put your hand down if you're loose, hand on the roof if you're tight. They've also been telling him to push the button twice if it felt the same as in practice, and we didn't get a double push. So I think he's having different handling from practice earlier, is at least what I can decipher at this point.
Good update. Thank you, Heather. So the next break will be at or around lap 100. So maybe they'll do the swap then and see if they can get him dialed in.
Yeah, but he was able to tell them what he was feeling in that first 50 laps. So I'm sure they were able to make some adjustments. We saw them making some adjustments. Looked like they raised the track bar, which is pretty indicative of that car being a little bit tight. Talked about how loose he was last year. Now they've gone the other direction, a little bit too tight.
And obviously the ARCA officials know that he can hear his team, so it's not a safety issue. As you see, Jason Ratcliffe, who oversees, I think, competition for the ARCA Menards Series, Xfinity, longtime crew chief, many-time winner. They're discussing what they need to do when they come back in. Let's get an update on the 73. Mamba, what's Andy J have going on?
Andy J in the 73, Andy Jokoriak, is putting together a pretty solid run. He started 11th, has worked his way up to 8th. He says it's really gets upset over the seams, and it feels like a modified and over rotates. I've never driven a modified. Austin, maybe you can tell us what that might feel like.
Yeah, man, you're talking to the wrong guy, but I can tell you that this place is really tricky and you have to be really line disciplined. So I imagine that's what he's feeling in that car. To your point, he's been doing a great job. He's one of our guys that stayed on the lead lap and has a shot to get a really good finish here today already. So, and he's got the sunnies on under the clear visor. This guy is becoming one of my favorite ARCA drivers.
He always gives us something to talk about. Daytona was last lap, and what did he say, Phil?
He said he wasn't going to lift till he saw the checkered flag or God.
And he had a big wreck. And then last week, under caution, he's eating a banana, and we just stayed on it.
He struggled with that. He struggled with it, but I think he got it done eventually.
Well, he likes to wear that bandana on his head, but then when he gets in the car, he puts it around his neck. So it was like on there, it was on his helmet, but the poor guy was hungry.
Yeah, but the fact that he's still on the lead lap here with a pace that these leaders have been setting says a lot for Andy J.
We were just talking about Indiana. How about Indiana's own Speedway, Indiana? Zachary Tinkle in the 11 earlier today at the drivers' meeting. He was given the 2023 General Tire Spirit Award, and that's for all of the work that he does. He gives back to shelters in need, cats in particular, so near and dear to my heart. But he was given a $2,500 check and then another $2,500 to the charity of his choice. And this kid is always smiling, shakes everybody's hand, just a nice young young man, and well done by him.
And we talked a little bit at the top of the show that this is a combination race with the ARCA East Series. There's 8 races for that series throughout the year. 5 of those combination races, like this one with a national series. And he ran that entire East Series last year as well as this year. And he was top 5 in points in the East Series. And that's racing against people like Sawalich. So he really did a nice job and is doing a nice job.
Racing for Rescues Toyota. All right, so working lap 57 right now. Gio Ruggiero out front. William Sawalich second. Carson Kvapil, LeVar Scott, Connor Zilich, your top 5. Been 2 different leaders today. Gio Ruggiero has led the most with 40 laps. Keep it going here. Green flag.
Nice even start for the front 2.
You go back to Phoenix. These are the 2 drivers that led every lap of that race, but it was William Sawalich who came out on top. He's trying to regain the lead right now from Gio Ruggiero.
Both these drivers know that whoever can grab this lead on the start will control the race.
And they're sliding.
Sideways by Gio, and they touch.
They do.
Great save.
Great battle up front for the lead. The 18 takes it. The only Joe Gibbs racing machine in the field.
Oh, and he gets sideways.
Gio Ruggiero back to second for Venturini Motorsports. Carson Kvapil back there in third, watching all this action. And here's teammates. Andres Perez in the 2, LeVar Scott in the 6.
Rev Racing teammates right now battling for that 4th and 5th spots. But what a move by Sawalich to grab that lead from the outside and avoid the sliding sideways Ruggiero.
Get a good replay here coming up at the 18 and the 20. 18 car Sawalich he doesn't have it too tight on him, but the 20 car just gets loose down there on the bottom, and you got that sunshine in there. It's a slippery spot of the racetrack. He's got a car on his door. It's good that those guys didn't wreck there. You see that happen all the time at this place, but great save by Gio. Has a chance to fight for another day.
Looked like he ran over this left rear tire, the 18's left rear tire, and I think climbed that tire. Take another look here. Watch the front end of that car right here. You see him jump up in the air because he ran over the right rear tire. Look, there's no letters left on that left rear tire of the 18.
I just love the battle between Joe Gibbs Racing and Venturini Motorsports. Those 2 love to beat each other more than anybody in the field. And if you follow the ARCA Menards series, this isn't just this year. It's a multi-year thing. They love beating each other. It doesn't matter who is driving the race cars.
It's Connor Zilich right along with the Suchi Fast Track onboard. Was right on the rear bumper of Perez. Lost a little. 31 is in the wall. Caution is out.
That's Rita Goulet. That'll bring out the caution for the 3rd time.
We're hearing that possibly her husband Tim has gotten in that car. We'll have to check back with the ARCA officials and see if that's the case.
Well, he was crew chiefing, so that'd be something if he got off the box.
Whoa.
But obviously has some damage. Just avoids Christian Rose, who is shown as the last car on the lead lap.
Watch top of your screen as we see
Amber
Balkin getting into the wall.
There.
Chris Wright, that's her teammate, the 15 right in front of her. He got sideways up off the corner. And there's Tim or Rita over in turn 2 against the outside wall.
No light hits here.
No, this is not an easy racetrack to get into the wall here. It looks like it was pretty gradual, but yeah, no soft hits at Dover for sure.
Yeah, the ARCA officials now are telling us that it is Tim, Rita's husband, in the car.
The 31 takes it back to the garage. 87 laps to go here for the ARCA Menards series. William Sawalich leads. The Monster Mile. We talk about how hard the hits are here. Look at that. Miles.
He's mean.
To take your car and crush it in his hand. That statue out front of Miles is pretty incredible. That's a full-size real race car.
It is.
By the way, if you win, you get a replica car in his hand.
Yeah, you said that it was like a bad thing if your car was in his hand. I would love to come back here next year and see a 2-car in that hand.
You know, Austin talked about this being one of his favorite racetracks. I was looking up his results in the Xfinity Series. 7 starts, never finished out of the top 10. His last 4 starts in the Xfinity Series, all top 3 finishes, including his last start a win.
I love those stats.
So he's pretty good here.
Great
what he's
stats.
saying is you're pretty good.
Pretty good here.
I don't feel like I'm an emotional driver when it comes to like, oh, you're at a racetrack that you like and you're going to run better. But there are just places that you just have a good time, and it does help.
And Daytona, too. That helps.
Daytona.
Hey, Mamba.
Marco Andretti is learning. That was his big goal today, is to learn throughout the race, make all the laps, and he's doing just that from the 12th position. Right now, he had a left rear, was smoking a little bit, but it's going away. The splitter is hitting the ground in this run. I talked to Marco before the race. AC, I asked him, are you going to run the boot cut all the time? And he goes, when I go full-time racing, I'm going to switch it back.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, he's been an IndyCar guy, you know, his whole career. He's about to start his 19th Indy 500. We're almost at the month of May, a lot going on, but he's trying to run in the stock car world. He loves NASCAR. Let's go back to Circuit of the Americas. This was his race truck under green.
I've been around here a long time, and I don't think I've ever seen that. His rear end housing came completely out from under that truck, and I was talking to his car owner, Bruce Cook, and truck owner at the same time, and he said that the trailing arms, you get so much wheel hop at COTA, and Austin, I don't have to explain what that is to you, but you actually get on the brakes, start downshifting, and the rear wheels will actually hop off the racetrack. He said you get a lot of that, and it broke the trailing arms, and that's why that rear end housing was able to come out from under that truck, but it was bizarre.
I can tell you it's a bad day if you're going to have wheel hop at Dover, so I think he's safe for today.
He's had some strange things happening, but certainly has quite a few more truck races and ARCA races coming up. All right, Gio Ruggiero, William Sawalich once again side by side as we go green once again.
Sawalich took the inside. He got the lead from the outside on that last restart.
LeVar Scott all over him.
I think these guys have to take a real hard look at that outside lane being favored here for at least the leader. You know, the bottom lane is going to be the preferred lane coming up, you know, throughout the laps as we see teammates racing there in the background. But that outside lane really lets you assert dominance, not just with the drive through the restart zone, but also, you know, being able to clamp that guy in the bottom lane as we hear the restarts under review.
So Gio Ruggiero with a nice restart. William Sawalich trying to catch him, and those teammates back there battling for the 4th spot. Carson Kvapil, Connor Zilich. Connor's been getting a little bit better, slowly but surely.
I think as these laps have gone, I think what if it's the guys have all had a chance to improve the race cars, but they're all being a lot more disciplined on the bottom.
We're being told that the 20 will have a pass-through for a restart violation. So Gio Ruggiero, you see it there, bright yellow penalty. The leader will have to come down pit road. That will give the lead to William Sawalich. Let's take a look at this restart once again.
That is big. The key is Sawalich is the control car. He has to launch first. In the ARCA officials' eyes, he did not launch first. You see the 20. It doesn't matter that he beats him to the start-finish line, but they felt like the 20 launched a little bit before the 18, and that's why they will penalize him and make him come down pit road. But that's going to be crushing for that team. I don't even know, can he get back out and only lose 1 lap, Austin, or do you think he's going to probably lose 2?
I think he'll lose 2 or 3. Yeah, this is a brutal place to actually stop under green. But yeah, I mean, his chances of winning today's race is pretty much over with having to stop under green. So I don't know if they're arguing it or not, but obviously the problem is, you know, does Sawalich not go and the 20 goes?
Caution on the racetrack.
We've got a caution out right on the start finish.
Wow.
Amber Balkin with a big hit. Had others involved as well.
Christian Rose.
Christian Rose.
Significant
hard into
contact.
the wall. There was a fire. You could see the back of his race car. He was on fire right in front of our booth. And they had just given the black flag to our leader who hadn't yet served that penalty.
It's a huge break for the 20 car, but obviously, you know, hard hit here for Christian. Glad to see he's popping out of this thing.
As you mentioned, a huge break for Ruggiero. If they black flagged him, that doesn't mean they're not scoring him anymore. If they put a black flag with a white cross on it, that would mean that they are not scoring him anymore. So he should be able to come down pit road. They may even stop this race.
It's a pretty narrow straightaway here, and obviously tough for the safety crews because the banking is so high here. Only 2 cars involved, it seems like. Let's see what happened here.
Watch right side of your screen. Oh, right front tire issue. for the 32. And then Amber comes off the corner and just avoids Christian Rose, but unfortunately the self-cleaning Banks is going to put her right into the inside safer barrier.
And this racetrack is pretty tough on right front tires. We talk about the loading and the banking and what that feels like for the driver. That right front tire takes the brunt force of that. You see that massive fire under there as well.
That was a massive hit for Christian
Huge
Rose.
hit off of 4.
And Amber did a great job avoiding Christian Rose again, because she's all in the throttle coming off the corner, and all of a sudden there is a car that's in the outside wall. You can see that car just go straight into the outside wall, and Amber's right there again. She's already in the throttle. She does an amazing job missing him, and if this would have been a flat straightaway, she probably would have got away with it, but unfortunately she had to turn so acutely that that it put her right in the inside wall.
It's too bad. She was doing a good job. She's on the lead lap, and you know it seems like she's got a bit of a limp here. Needs some help.
Yeah, when you hit something that hard like she did the inside wall, your feet flail about, and you've got the pedals in there. You've got leg braces to keep your legs from moving too much, but unfortunately, it looks like maybe a situation with an ankle or something like that. Don't want to speculate.
So we're under red here at Dover Motor Speedway as they tend to Amber Balkin for this incident. We'll be back. And we're under a red flag with 75 laps to go after a hard hit for Christian Rose. There's his torn up race car. He was the point leader coming in. 2 top 5 finishes out of 3 races this year. And then on the flip side, you had Amber Balkin. She's full-time in the series, 2 top 10s this season, and she was put onto a stretcher, looked like complaining of some leg pain of some sort.
Jamie, let's take a look at that restart again. We're hearing that the 20 of Ruggiero's team is still arguing about that. Watch this now. The 18th Sawalich is our control car. They're going to get to the line. This is the restart line. You see the 20 gets to the restart line. They don't go by the zone like the other 3 series of NASCAR do. That is the restart line, and you see the 20 obviously ahead of the 18, and I think that's probably what got them penalized, was the fact that he actually got to the restart line before the 18 of Sawalich did.
So he had continued to run a couple of laps. They were telling him he needed to come down pit road for a pass through. He did not. Then the caution comes out. So what this means is they continue to argue their point right now. But if it stands, he will have to restart at the tail end of the longest line.
Which is a huge break. Austin and I both speculated it would be at least 2 laps he would lose and essentially be out of contention for the win. Now he's right back in it with only now with losing Christian Rose. We only have 9 cars right now on the lead lap, so that will be a huge advantage and a break for Ruggiero.
Christian Rose, Amber Balkin shown in the 10th and 11th spot at the time of that impact. Christian looked like he lost a right front straight into the wall, and that led to this red flag.
Why don't we just ask Gio about that?
Let's do it.
Hey Gio, this is a Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Obviously, you guys were penalized for jumping the restart. I know Shannon, your crew chief, was arguing with situation. What happened from your side of it?
Yeah, you know, I was just trying to get a good restart there for myself. I guess we were really only a couple inches in front of them by a nose, so it's unfortunate, but I think we still got a good shot here to come from the back.
Yeah, doing a great job, and that was a huge break, not having to come in under green to serve that penalty. So right now we're only showing 9 cars on the lead lap, so it really does not take you out of contention at all, and that car looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, copy that.
All right, buddy, good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, this will be fun. Gio Ruggiero has not been outside the top 2 this entire race, and now he will drop. Well, let's see. He'll drop back to about 9th place.
It'll definitely give us something fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got, you know, it's 75 laps in. We're going to have another break at 100. So he'll get these next couple laps to be able to kind of work his way back through and get to these lead lap cars starting at from starting at the tail. And we'll see what he's got in traffic. I mean, he's obviously had a good car out up front. He's got the lead from the restarts and from some lap traffic. But it'll give him an opportunity to kind of see what he's got, and give us an opportunity to watch something pretty fun.
Looking forward to that for sure. So 75 laps in, 75 laps to go. That means it's time for our Richmond mid-race report. Had quite a few opportunities for good racing.
We're seeing right now we're showing Gio as the leader, and unfortunately he's being penalized. So Sawalich will actually be the leader we've only had the 2 leaders, Gio and Sawalich, 2 lead changes. We've got now with that accident, we have less cars on the lead lap, but at the time of that caution, we had 11 cars on the lead lap, 4 cautions so far, and you see Gio's led 41 laps, and he's the lap leader so far.
I think a car that, and we've talked about him a good bit already, but a car that's really stood out to me that I think this really benefits and gives a great shot at the lead is Carson Kvapil. Just because I think he's had just as fast of a car as the 20 and the 18, but now he's going to be able to have a front row restart.
Let's hear from William Sawalich's crew chief, Heather.
Yes, here with Matt Ross, crew chief of the number 18. So we've seen that you've had radio issues this entire race. You tried to fix it on the first break. You weren't able to. Have you determined what the issue is to have a plan for the second break?
Well, we know what the issue isn't. So we're going to try doing a helmet change, and we have a couple other things that we're going to go. We might put a new harness in that we kind of hand built down here. Luckily, he can hear us, so that's the good thing. We've been able to work on the balance. We made it a little bit better. This kind of short stint there after that break isn't giving us a good enough read to make any more adjustments, but it should be all right.
Now, restarts are very important. We just saw that restart prior to that incident. Gio did jump the restart, but what are you telling William in these situations since he can hear you?
Well, he knows how to do it. I mean, he's been doing it for 2 years now. So when somebody does something like that, you know, it's fine, but you just got to make sure that they police it and, you know, they made the right decision, but should be good.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. Well, it's a good reminder for the other drivers as well, especially those like William Sawalich who aren't racing every single week in this series. Just a reminder, hey, heads up, they are policing these things.
Yeah, and he will be the control car, so you're less likely to get busted if you're the control car than you are if you're the car on the outside or inside and not the control car.
So a little bit of drama up front. William Sawalich, his radio issues continue, but he will restart in the number 1 spot. Carson Kvapil next to him. We'll be back. Welcome back to the General Tire 150 at Dover Motor Speedway. Race number 4 for the ARCA Menards series. Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, Austin Cindric with you, Heather DeBow and Mamba Smith on pit road. You know, we have all these great stories throughout the field, and there's one, Caleb Costner in the 93, doing a nice job here tonight. Really cool story for the love of racing. For more, here's Heather.
And Jamie, you mentioned it. He used to be a former cop, but now he is starting his own business, which is the Performance Racing Cleaners, and he just wanted to spend more time with his family and getting to racing. So here he is, Caleb Costner, Performance Cleaners. They are the lead cleaners at, guess what, Team Penske. There you see them. So, Austin, do you recognize these guys? Have you seen them before?
I recognize how clean that shop is, and I guess we have the right people to thank. So best of luck to Caleb out there today. He and his group do a great job keeping our stuff clean. So looks like he's having a solid day as well, keeping that race car clean.
But I love his story. I mean, he was a police officer, and he said, I couldn't do that and race. I needed to come up with a way to make a little bit more money. So he creates his own business that allows him the freedom to go race and to be with his family. So hats off to Caleb. Well done.
He had a solid run at Talladega last week, on the verge of finishing the top 10. Lost the draft late in the race. I was talking to him today about it. Finished 13th, though.
Well, big hit for Christian Rose. We saw the flames, the fire. Mamba?
I'm here with Christian Rose. Christian, first off, are you okay? Secondly, what happened in that one?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just breathing a lot of stuff right there when we caught fire. Not really sure what happened. I mean, I think we only had like 10 or 15 green flag laps right there. I mean, it just went straight on me. So, big hit. This place is the monster for a reason, but got to thank West Virginia Tourism, AM Racing, everybody for giving me a fast race car. There's not much you can do about it at that point, but tell my wife, my mom, everybody watching back home, we're all good, and go get them in Kansas.
Thank you, Christian. Glad you're okay, bud.
Yeah, all good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
What a heartbreaker. I mean, this was a place he grew up watching. He played D1 baseball across the street. He'd compete against University of Delaware across the street. Then he'd take his jersey off, come over here just to watch the races, and his buddies thought he was crazy, but he's like, I'm going to race there one day. And he did today, and unfortunately, his day ended short. But there's our man, Bob Pockris, on the job, getting all the words.
Yeah, Christian was doing a nice job running in the top 10, and as he mentioned, he didn't have that many laps on that tire. They put tires on at the lap 50 break, so undoubtedly ran over something, and unfortunately really paid the price.
We're getting lined up to go for this restart here.
So you heard about Gio Ruggiero for that restart violation, starting back deep in the field for the first time. See what that 20 car is made of. We've had two different leaders here tonight.
My man William Sawalich has chosen the outside, which I am proud of him for.
You think he learned his lesson?
Hope it works out.
Austin's over here punching the air, so that's a good sign. William Sawalich on the outside. On the inside, Carson Quapple. All this speedy drive that they drive through to go down into turn 1.
Nice draw and run into turn 1. Was able to clear Carson Quapple. Now Carson's going to have to battle his teammate Zilich, who's trying to make the move on the outside. You think those cars look similar enough?
Pinnacle Racing Group, 2-car effort here. They've just gotten those cars better and better. The best they have been. Connor Zilich into 3rd. Carson Quapple 2nd. Just behind him, those teammates from Rev Racing, LeVar Scott, Andres Perez in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, all 5 of these cars have been strong this entire race. Andy J right now is holding down the 6th spot, really doing a nice job, but seems like the Rev Racing teammates of LeVar Scott and Andres Perez have been together since the green flag dropped. It looks like Carson Quapple, Mamba's catching the 18 of Sawalich.
Carson Quapple has a lot of speed right now. He just cannot figure out what he's doing on the restarts. He keeps the radios and I don't know what I'm doing. I just can't keep up with him. His crew chief said, don't worry, you'll make up for it later.
So many things that he's learning. He'll jump in that Xfinity car tomorrow, and I have a feeling he'll be a little bit more up to speed after getting to run an entire race before then.
Yeah, without a doubt. And a lot of times these guys aren't quite as restricted on gear ratios in the transmission as some of the other series. So it could be a situation where the Sawalich has a little bit different gear ratios in his transmission, and that may be what is giving him an advantage over Quapple.
So Gio Ruggiero, we showed him in the 20. He's in 9th right now. Just moved up around Chris Wright for 8th. 9 cars on the lead lap here at Dover. There he is right there in the 20, trying to get around Tony Breidinger, who's having a great run. That's for 7th.
Yeah, 17 laps left. A little bit of wiggle by Tony right there. I think he wants to get as close as he can to the front. Knows we're going to get a caution in about 16 laps. And if he can restart somewhere in the first two rows, then I think it's going to be a huge advantage for him as we go. Right now he's chasing down the 73 of Andy J. That's a battle for the 6th spot.
So impressed with what Andy Jankowiak is doing to go up against a team like Venturini Motorsports. First time racing here for Andy J. Woo! Wagging that tail. But he's the guy we talk about being a pizza delivery driver. Well, last week he was the banana boy. He always gives us something great to talk about, but moves back a spot as Gio Ruggiero goes around him. So Andy Jankowiak back in 7th.
Yeah, the 55 right there, Brent Cruz, we just saw him pass Andy as well. Remember, he is 19 laps down from that battery issue, so certainly out of contention. So that was not a spot that Andy lost to him.
It's a bummer for Brent Cruz. We certainly thought that was one of the young men that would be in contention for this win today.
Good battle right there for the 7th spot, Jamie.
Yes, absolutely. He had battles early on, but Tony Breidinger, another nice job for her.
Both drivers look like they're definitely dealing with a loose condition with their cars. I think Andy J, he's had enough moments here since we've been on camera that I think he'll be looking forward to this break here coming in 12 laps. So get that car snugged up a little bit.
Tony doing a real nice job. He qualified in the 9th spot, right now running 8th, but running some very competitive lap times.
And you see Andy J, he leaves that bottom lane. You know, he dives down in the bottom and
it's a gaggle.
Here we go. Here we go.
You can't go 4 wide at Dover, and they don't. They back it down.
Quapple went so low that I lost sight of him. He was down there against the inside wall. You could see the dust flying.
Man, this has killed his ability to be able to go through lap traffic throughout the day. I think he's had a super fast car, but you see this gap that he's really lost to the 18 car.
Quapple just lost his 2nd, just like that, being held up by the lap cars. Hearing a little bit of contact.
That's a battle for the 5th spot right there with Perez in the 2 and Ruggiero in the 20.
Here it is.
It's going to be a great view here. Watch
now
Quapple in the 82.
Quapple.
Oh my gosh.
DL Wilson. Did he put him in the wall, or was Carson? It looks like Carson was able to stay out of the wall, but it was close.
I'm not even sure I've ever been that low at Dover.
Not even sure there was a racetrack down there. See, Sawalch, he has his own issues with Dennison in the 0-6. Had no idea that Quapple was having a tougher time down on the inside of the racetrack.
William Sawalch continues to lead here, 59 laps to go. We will have another scheduled break at or around lap 100, so coming up quickly. And Marco Andretti,
he stopped there. I think that's
caution is out.
He stopped on the inside of the racetrack.
That is the 5th caution of the day.
Obviously something happened to him past the entrance to pit road.
Well, we showed and talked about some of the issues he's had, whether it's in the truck or an Xfinity car. You see some smoke coming out from that number 17 car. Let's see.
Already off the pace, and again already past the entrance to pit road. He's doing his best to get out of the way as much as he can. I don't see any damage, so I don't think it was induced by any damage, Mamba.
Marco says to the team, this car won't crank, it won't turn over. He's unsure about what's going on with it right now, guys.
Awful feeling. You told me earlier, all I want is just a clean race. Just finish all the laps, learn while I'm out here, and something else sends him back to the garage early. 57 laps to go. William Sawalch, Joe Gibbs Racing is your leader. Delaware. Fans enjoying what they're seeing. It's sweatshirt weather for sure. It's been in the 50s today, but beautiful. And it's supposed to be like this all weekend long. We have the Xfinity Series tomorrow, Cup Series on Sunday.
We're getting ready to restart. We're going to have a short little run before we get the caution for the race break.
We're looking at or around lap 100. We're at 96 right now. So Greg Van Alst was the free pass, got back on the lead lap, and then he came down pit road, Heather.
Yes, he did, and they made a track bar adjustment, and he actually pitted earlier in this race for the same thing because the car was bottoming out on landing. Now, this is his first time here at Dover, so this team, they are learning, and they are a volunteer team, so these guys are working really hard, a blue-collar team just trying to make things happen, but he's really excited to be here today, and we'll see if he can make something happen in these last few laps.
Yeah, Greg Van Alst from Anderson, Indiana, 42 years old, 4 kids. One of them, I think just one of them, is a racer. Proud dad.
A young racer, too, like 12 years old, yeah.
He's made his, was it late model stock debut, I
so,
believe?
Yeah.
Racing against all ages.
A little short run here. We're saying now they're going to extend this break to lap 105, not at lap 100.
William Sawalch restarts on the outside. Carson Quapple on the inside with his teammate right behind him.
Another great launch for the outside lane. We're now on used tires here, pretty much to the end of their life, almost 50 laps, and Carson Quapple able to do a pretty good job of keeping up to speed here.
It's pretty popular to be a white race car right now. 2nd through 6th spot are white race cars.
Great side-by-side battle for 3rd.
LeVar Scott, he's been strong all day, top 5.
Trying to hold off Connor Zilich. Zilich looks like he has the advantage coming up off the corner.
Gio Ruggiero had to restart for that penalty, restarted 9th. Now he moves into the 4th spot.
Yeah, another great opportunity for him. I feel like you're seeing red right now. As many spots as you can get, the closer you can get to the lead, the better shot you have to win this race. He's been one of the best cars all day. He's come up through the field pretty methodically, but I think he wants to be in the top 3 here before this caution comes out.
Yeah, he's going to have about 6 laps to go before we get that break, or the caution could come out sooner than it, obviously. But a fast race car, has been a fast race car all day.
Qualified 3rd for Gio Ruggiero. He's led 41 laps today and hoping he can get another crack at it. It's been a heck of a battle between he and the 18 and William Sawalch, but I think they're going to have to answer to Carson Quapple and Connor Zilich before this is all over.
Yeah, the first 4 cars ran extremely fast, all in 23, between a 20 and a 45.
Oh, no. Carson Quapple, something flies off his race car. Caution.
He's got a right front tire down. He's missing the right rear quarter panel as well.
There it is right there on the racetrack, and that'll bring out the 6th caution.
Well, he's fortunate he didn't get into the fence. It looks like he had an issue. I'm sure we'll see a replay here, but Lucky to get that happen early into the corner instead of where it happened for Christian Rose.
Yeah, part of the quarter panel is gone off of that car.
That could be one of our Reese's Sweet Move of the Race nominees. Watch this.
Without a doubt.
LeVar Scott avoids disaster. Boom, right there.
Oh, that's why the quarter panel came off the car. A little contact from LeVar Scott. LeVar is going to lose a couple spots while he was trying to avoid Quapple.
But the question is, what happened to Quapple? You can go to arcaracing.com on Monday at 3 Eastern to see who wins the Sweet Move of the race. Yeah, certainly an issue for Quapple right before LeVar Scott just tries to get around him. Look at this shot.
Yeah, he's down on power right now. It's going to be a little damage to the left front fender of LeVar Scott's car, but that will not be terminal.
Look at this, all LeVar Scott fans right here.
Love that.
They're cheering for their boy, having a great day. Just avoided disaster that could have been much, much worse. He's shown in the 5th spot right now.
Yeah, Quapple stays on the racetrack because more than likely this will be the race break. They said the next caution or lap 105, whichever came first.
So this will be their last opportunity to put tires on it, fuel it up, get those adjustments needed. Pit stops next. Under caution here at Dover Motor Speedway for the 2nd scheduled break. Pit road will be open. Drivers can come down, take tires, take fuel, make those adjustments. They'll have 5 minutes to get all their work done. As they make their way down pit road, they'll stop and they cannot jump the wall until the ARCA officials give them the green light. Mamba.
Carson Quapple in the 82 we just saw brought out the caution with that flat right front tire. They feel like the car is close and they have something they can compete with a win for, but now we're going to have to see Carson come from the back of the pack to make his way back up through. Heather?
LeVar Scott, this is his home track. He's from Kearney's, New Jersey, but he's got friends and family. We saw him here in the stands and on pit road, and they made an air pressure adjustment during that first break, but they're going to go back on that adjustment. But they also showed him getting into the 82. He does have some damage to the left front, so the team is going to have to tape up the nose of the 6 here. Mamba?
Connor Zillage says he just needs a little bit of help late in the corner. His entry is fine on his entry. His middle is fine, though, which is going to put Shane Huffman, his crew chief, in a bit of a conundrum to get him tightened up a little bit, but not too tight for the rest of the race. Jamie?
A conundrum. You guys know that Mamba Smith is a co-host on the Happy Hour podcast with Kevin Harvick and Caitlin Vincey. He's the one that comes up with all the crazy words that Kevin has to get into the broadcast on Sundays. So throwing him down with conundrum. Heather.
And the 18 here of William Sawalich still having those radio issues. Just before he came down pit road, they said, put your hand on the A post if you're loose at all. We did not see that, so he is not loose here in the 18. They did have a helmet ready that they possibly were going to bring to him, but they decided to not do that at this time. Jamie?
See the chassis adjustment there for the 18, although he's led the most laps, 64. Wants that race car to be just a little bit better. For 45 laps remaining.
See, they can talk to William now. They know they're not going to come to pit road anymore, so whatever kind of feedback he gives them, they can make the adjustments. And again, they really don't necessarily need to hear him anymore because they'll be done pitting.
And it seems like they made his car better throughout the race. You know, that first run, I think he was maybe even a 3rd place car, but it seems like even without the ability to talk, able to make it faster.
Making adjustments, hoping they're all faster. Who will be victorious and take home Monster? We see a lot of interesting things in the ARCA Menards series, a lot of firsts. Well, we talked about Carson Quapple and the right rear damage to the 82. Watch this. What are they applying to the race car?
We've got a pit sign. This caught our eye before we went to break. They have a pit sign, and that's now his right rear quarter panel. And
that's not on the bottom.
That's not the 28 of Connor Zilich's pit sign. It's actually upside down, so it's the 82. So it's his pit sign anyway.
He doesn't have a pit stop left today, and honestly, that was going to kill him not having a right rear quarter panel. And if anything, this might actually be better. As good as new.
Look how long it is now.
Look how it's new.
Look how it's hanging past the tail.
If we didn't talk about it, nobody would know the difference. I mean, that's ingenuity at its finest. I just want to know who made the call, right?
Leave it to racers.
Yes.
Love it.
All right, we had a big one earlier involving Christian Rose and Amber Balkan. Amber looked like she had a little bit of pain in her leg. She's standing by right now with Mamba.
Standing by with Amber Balkan. Amber, first off, are you okay? And secondly, how hard was that hit?
Yeah, I'm okay, and it was a decently hard hit. I feel fine everywhere else. Just gotta check out gotta see what's going on with my foot.
Well, speedy recovery. We'll see you.
Thank you.
And I hate to see that. Her hit didn't look that big, so I'm not sure what her foot hit, but she'll go in, get further inspection by the doctor, obviously, and gosh.
It actually was. It looked from that angle, it looked like it was a pretty decent size hit. And she said it was a fairly decent hit. And we saw her getting out of the car and very gingerly walking. But again, the pedals are in there. There's not a lot of room. You have leg braces to keep your legs from going too far to the outside. Sometimes you have a pad on the steering wheel to keep your legs from touching together. But I would guess that maybe something happened with her feet and the pedals.
Hate that for Amber Balkan. Running full time here, just wants to run all the laps. First time racing at Dover, just caught up. Christian Rose, blown tire, went straight into the wall, and she had nowhere to go.
No, really did a great job avoiding Christian Rose. That could have been really catastrophic if she would have hit him at speed. But unfortunately, you know, with the 9 degrees banking that we have here, they're, you know, we call them self-cleaning for a reason. It's awfully hard once you start spinning to stay out of that inside wall.
Let's get an update on Gio Ruggiero. Heather.
Yeah, and Gio has made his way up to 3rd after getting that penalty. He restarted 9th, the last car in the lead lap on our last restart. But I talked to Shannon Rush just now, and they have no complaints on that race car. He's happy with where it's at, but he told him we need clean air. So on this restart, do whatever it takes. Get to the bottom, make it 3 wide. Just do not jump the start.
So what you're saying is he's going to put on a little bit of a show, starting there in 3rd, 2nd row?
Yeah, I think we've got a really good little final segment here shaping up. Obviously, Swalic's been leading the race here, has had control. I think Zilic has gotten better throughout the race. I think he started off okay, and he's gotten to where he's been able to be a top 3 car, and now has an opportunity to contend for a win. And we're gonna have to watch, you know, Carson Kvapil come from the back here with that pit sign right rear quarter panel, and obviously Gio Ruggiero coming from the back as well. He's up to 3rd. I think he's gonna have something to say before this race is over.
And we say the back for Carson Kvapil, but he will restart 9th as we have 10 cars on the lead lap. Greg Van Alst was the last one to get the free pass, so he's in 10th on the lead lap. 42 laps to go here at the start-finish line. Really good restart from the outside, but Connor Zilic is right there, side by side. They touch.
Really great job by Connor to keep it even. He's going to have to stay really disciplined, be careful of that car on his outside.
If he can stay there, it's going to contact into the wall.
Goes into the wall. William Sawalich, and the caution comes out for the 7th time.
And guess who has the lead?
Gio Ruggiero. What a turn of events. We'll have to look at this one again.
Just hard racing, and Austin talked about how difficult it is to stay on the inside of that car. That outside car is robbing that rear spoiler of downforce, and unfortunately Williams going to have to pay the price.
Yeah, it's just hard racing on a restart, trying to establish control, track position, racetrack. But as you see, Connor's got just a little bit of a nose going into turn 3, and turn 3 is probably one of the sketchier entries into the corner, and just loses a bit of air on the nose, can't quite get to the bottom, tags William and puts him in the wall.
And you see the 20 car on the bottom, right to the lead as the caution comes out. Connor Zilic in 2nd, LeVar Scott 3rd, Andy Jankowiak, Tony Breidinger all up there in the top 6.
If you can go back and actually play that again, I would love to. There's a big bump, and it really, the Cup cars actually really struggle with it. And if you watch the left rear tire and hit that bump, so watch the left rear tire on Williams' car right here. Hits that bump and goes straight up the racetrack. So he's in a bad aero spot, can't quite get to the bottom, but like I said, it's just hard racing. It's a tricky spot to put yourself in, which is why it makes these restarts so difficult.
And William wants to make it difficult for him. He wants to keep him pinned down, to keep him out of the throttle if he can.
I think William gave him plenty of room.
Yes.
There's plenty of room to the bottom. at least entering turn 3.
Yeah, Connor really never got to the bottom of the racetrack. Here they are going down the backstretch, entering turn 3. Watch, he's never going to get down to the bottom. And then he makes contact.
Yeah, he got his turn-in point right, but he just hit that bump and never could quite get back down. It would be a really good view here from the 18.
Here we are coming off to going under the bridge. William almost had him cleared going down into turn 3. Connor drives him hard into turn 3, makes contact, and unfortunately William is going to be out of it.
William Sawalich started the race on the pole, led 67 laps, the most today. Had those radio issues and now bigger problems. He is out of the race. So 39 laps to go from Dover Motor Speedway. Connor Zilic, the leader for the first time today. Gio Ruggiero right there. LeVar Scott, Andy J, and Tony Breidinger. Beautiful blue sky evening at Dover Motor Speedway. And we're glad you're joining us for the General Tire 150. 36 laps to go, and it has been eventful. 7 caution flags have fallen. Let's take a look at our race recap, boys.
We start with Brent Cruz. Obviously thought we were going to be a contender today. Lost power pretty early. Had to work on that thing. He's back out, but a ton of laps down.
Been a great battle for the lead between Sawalich in the 18 and the 20 of Ruggiero.
That came to an end with a jumped restart from Gio. He's obviously recovered from that, but it's taken him a little while.
And hard contact for Christian Rose and Amber Balkan both. Christian cuts down the right front tire, hits the outside wall. Amber with nowhere to go avoids him, but unfortunately gets into the inside wall.
We had one of our contenders, Carson Quapple, have his right front tire go down as that right rear quarter panel ripped off. It's now been repaired with some creativity. And our last incident, big one.
Yeah, sure was. Battle for the lead. Connor Zilic on the inside. Runs over the bump. Can't quite get down to the bottom. Makes contact with Sawalich, and into the outside wall goes William.
Battle for the lead right there. So William Sawalich, the most dominant car today, is out. Connor Zilic shown as the leader now for the first time this evening. LeVar Scott, home track, homeboy up there. He has his big family, friends cheering section. I think you were counting them for a little while, Austin. So this is good run for him. Has a shot at taking home the win for LeVar Scott. Andy J, Gio Ruggiero, they're all up there in the top 5.
Really great jump by Connor on the outside lane. Should be clear by quite a bit going into turn 1. Be safe from LeVar Scott.
34 laps to go. Plenty of time for those guys to come up here and battle Zilic. You see Ruggiero right now trying to figure out a way to get around LeVar Scott in the 6 car. LeVar doing a nice job. They repaired that damage too from his contact with Carson Quapple.
If I'm Gio Ruggiero, it's go time. I got to get by this 6 car as quickly as possible. You know, the restarts are difficult here because the track gets so clean. There's not as much rubber. The track isn't as wide, so it's probably one of the harder times to make a pass. But he's got to get going now if he wants to have a chance at Zilic with the lead.
Well, Connor Zilic making his first ARCA Menards Series national start this year. First time leading today, becomes the 3rd different leader in this race.
He hasn't really shown as much muscle as he is right now, but clean air is certainly huge for these ARCA cars. Anything you race right now, clean air is huge, and he's really doing a nice job with it. You could hear him barely out of the throttle.
And I think his crew chief, Shane Huffman, who's been in the sport forever as a driver and crew chief, has really made some nice adjustments to this car.
And right now, LeVar Scott is his best friend. If LeVar Scott can hold off Gio Ruggiero for as long as possible, I think that's going to really help Connor Zilic's chances here.
They're actually driving away from Ruggiero a little bit. You see him now losing about 4 or 5 car lengths to the 6 of LeVar Scott.
LeVar Scott's best finish in the ARCA Menards Series, 4th at Kansas. So what an evening for him. I know he told me he's raced here before, raced here last year. Made him nervous, but he loved this place, felt good about their chances.
And I think lap traffic is going to have a lot to say with this, as we see Carson Quapple has already made his way back up to 4th in the repaired number 82 car.
The pit board sign, all the glory to the pit board sign on the right rear.
With 29 laps to go, I mean, traffic's going to decide this race, in my opinion. At least have a big say in what's going to happen. So I think the spotters have to be aware of that. The drivers are going to be aware of that with what they have to do. And I think it's about making the right moves when the time comes.
Yeah, we still have that same disparity of speed. There's a lot of cars on the racetrack that don't have the pace of these leaders, and lap cars will certainly come into play.
Let's get an update on Andy Jankowiak in 6th, Mamba.
Andy is running 6th right now, putting together a really good day. He's felt like the team has had speed all year, and they just haven't had the luck. He told his team earlier, I have about 90% I'm using right now. I can use probably that extra 10 inside of 20 laps and be a little bit more aggressive. Heather?
And Tony Breidinger running in that 7th position just behind Andy J. She told me today her goal is to get a top 5. They need to make up some points. I just checked in with their crew chief, Peyton Lapsevich, and he said they made small adjustments under these brakes. He says she's comfortable in the car, but right now they just need to capitalize. He tells her all the time, trust the car, trust the process. So see if Tony can get that top 5 here today.
A couple more positions she needs to make up, but Chris Ryder, teammate, was all over her bumper. Look at this battle heating up. Gio Ruggiero has been on fire. A little bit of a setback getting that penalty, having to fight his way back, trying to get around LeVar Scott for Rev Racing in the 2nd spot.
And Quapple is there as well in the 82 car, teammates to Zilich.
And Zilich is about half a lap away from catching some lap cars, so this is going to really mix things up as well for this battle for 2nd.
25 laps to go from Dover, Delaware.
There's the lap cars you were talking about. One guy we haven't talked a lot about is Chris Wright. Chris is doing a nice job. He was running right behind his teammate Tony Breidinger, but Chris is doing a solid job. Going to run full time this year, run for the championship. Had a 2nd place finish at Talladega last week, his career best. Having a solid top 10 run here.
Yeah, trying to get around his teammate for that 7th spot. Good run for them. Venturini Motorsports teammates. What a year it has been for our leader, Connor Zilich. The 17-year-old goes to victory lane and rocking a Rolex watch. What a job well done. I know you were impressed by his drive there, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many guys have been able to go back-to-back at Daytona and Sebring and IMSA, but super impressive result from Connor at this 12-hour event. Finishing stint, getting the win.
Made his Truck Series debut at Circuit of the Americas as well. Passed 57 trucks. Caution is out again. Obviously, a lot of damage for Tony Breidinger in the 25.
Yeah, actually crashed with her teammate Chris Wright. We talked about the good run Chris had going, as well as Tony.
Well, he was all over the bumper trying to get that 7th spot. Here it is.
See Tony in the red car. Chris trying to make the move to the outside. Had his nose up alongside of Tony, not very far, but
yeah, that's a tough spot. You know, with that corner exit, you know, she was behind a lap car, so she's going to be losing momentum. Whereas Chris was getting momentum off the top, and sometimes that's a difficult spot for the spotters. So I don't know what you do differently in position with the drivers, right? You're Chris. You're trying to get the spot. You've been working hard for the last few laps, but I feel like if you're Tony, you don't really expect that car to be there. So I think a lot of it kind of comes down to what information you're getting from the roof, but really unfortunate for Tony. She was having a super solid run. As we mentioned, this is a track that she's had some speed at, and unfortunately leaving with the damaged race car.
Heather was just talking about her trying to get a top 5, which would have been the first of the year, running 7th at the time of this incident as she brings it down pit road. So 13 laps to go.
That was not a lap car in front of her either. That was Andy Jankowiak, who was in front of her. So she wasn't trying to figure out a way around him. She was just running the normal racing line there.
Doesn't look like much, if any, damage to Chris Wright's car.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the right front of Tony's car. You can see guys taking a look at it, but she may be able to ride around. And right now we have our 10th place car that's 3 laps down, so there would be a possibility if they feel like nothing's rubbing on the right front, she could ride around these last 12 laps even at a reduced pace and possibly still get a top 10.
Well, it certainly gives life to Gio Ruggiero and as well as Carson Quapple. We were watching lap times under that commercial break, and those guys were, you could put a blanket on them. I mean, hundreds, you know, traded between the three of them. So this next restart will be super important for what decides the race. Obviously, we've seen these go both ways for these guys so far today. A lot of aggressive racing up at the front and some fans.
Yeah, Connor going to take the outside, do you think? We hope.
I hope so.
Yeah. But we know how aggressive Gio's going to be on the inside of the racetrack. So.
Yeah, well, and Connor got a great launch the last time, so I feel like he's got a lot of comfort, a lot of confidence in that, and as well as you know, the only difficulty is you leave yourself vulnerable to that car on the inside, and I say that because that is why, you know, Connor's got the lead here. You know, it didn't come without a little bit of controversy, or, you know, a little bit of challenge. They're racing hard with Sawalich, so that's what it's going to come down to. How hard are these guys going to want to race each other? And, you know, the best thing Connor can do to control that really is to get a good launch in the preferred lane.
You remember what our buddy Kenny Schrader says, right? 8 tires are better than 4 if you're that car on the inside.
Only for a certain amount of time.
Yes, yes.
Laps are winding down here for race number 4 on the season, but we are under caution for the latest incident between teammates. Well, it's the 34th time that the ARCA Menards East Series has raced here. Here's some notable winners. Heard of that guy? Ty Gibbs racing on Sundays. But Taylor Gray won it here in 22. And Jake Finch, the 2023 Dover winner, did it in the 20 car. There's Shannon Rush right there in victory lane with him. Took home Miles, the monster. He's been brutal. That monster's been brutal.
Yes, today for sure. Big restart right here, guys.
Gio Ruggiero in that 20 has been tough. He's finally fought his way back. Connor Zilic, though, with a great restart.
Yeah, that restart's going to really give Connor some control over this field. It's exactly what he wants. Gives him some clean air and options with both lanes.
Probably close enough to the end of the race that we're not going to see lap cars again with only 8 laps to go.
Mentioned that we've been racing here in the ARCA East, as this is the 34th race. It's the first time ever. It's been a national race as well, paying full points for the ARCA Menards National as well as East.
Good battle for 4th right there with Quapple and Perez.
How about this right here? Toyota going for its 15th consecutive win in the ARCA Series. They have 14 and counting right now. Luke Fenhaus, the last non-Toyota winner at Iowa 2023. Can they hang on?
Great manufacturer battle up front with the Chevrolet of Zilic leading the Toyota of Ruggiero.
LeVar Scott in the Chevrolet. Carson Quapple as well. Andres Perez back there in 5th. Five laps to go here at Dover.
I saw Ruggiero moving around a little bit, ran a little bit higher down there at the other end of the racetrack, maybe trying to find a little bit of speed.
Yeah, Connor's been able to stay super disciplined to that right around that apron, especially this early in the run. As you see Gio pushing that car for everything he's got, maybe tagging the wall a little bit. As you mentioned, Phil, just trying to find somewhere to have some lap time, but Connor's putting some killer laps in. He was actually just 0.3 of a second faster than Gio that last lap.
Right now, Connor saying, please, everyone keep these cars straight. We don't need another caution flag and another restart. And remember, we have to get right to the end of the race in the ARCA Menards series for them to be official. If we get a caution on the very last lap, even after the white flag is displayed, we'll do it again.
And I think we will get some lap traffic here in the next couple. You know, I think there's a few slower cars here. Not a ton. I think we get past these next 2 or 3. Should be good to the end.
Carson Quapple passing LeVar Scott for 3rd. He's got that pit board sign working for him in the right rear. Incredible creativity by that race team to keep their driver in contention.
Austin liked that modification to that 82 car.
White flag will be displayed momentarily for Connor Zilic. White flag is in the air. Can Connor Zilic hang on? Trying to win his first ARCA National Series win. Gio Ruggiero just behind him. Connor Zilic He was patient. They worked on the race car. They made it better. As he makes his way around, checkered flag in the air, Connor Zilich gets it done in Dover. Shane Huffman pumped up. Well done, crew chief. Gio Ruggiero second. Carson Quapple, LeVar Scott, Andres Perez, your top 5.
A first and a third for that team led by Shane Huffman.
First time with 2 cars, isn't it?
Yes, Mark Webb.
Great effort.
That team started with Shane Huffman last year. And they're going to victory lane in Dover.
Ed Pompa in the grass in the infield. Well, that was worth the wait for this team.
Remember, these banks are self-cleaning, Jamie. You don't have as much room here as some of the other places.
We just talked about the year this young man has had. 17 years old. Went to victory lane at Daytona. Went to victory lane in Sebring. Endurance races. Makes his debut in a truck at Circuit of the Americas. Had his setbacks. Fought back. Passed 57 trucks in the day to finish top 5. Comes out here at Dover for Pinnacle Racing. He's a track house driver. You know, Justin Marks is excited about this kid. He's already signed up for the future.
Just announced more truck races to his schedule this week.
Parks it on the start-finish line.
And guess what? He's going to turn 18 this year, too.
There's a lot going on.
There's some Xfinity races on his horizon as well.
In the fall, he said once August hits, he'll be racing all the time, whether it's Xfinity or the Truck Series.
He was telling us maybe as many as 60 races on his schedule.
I was going to say, he rivals Kyle Larson with the number of races. He's racing everywhere, every week. Career best finish, as we said, for Connor Zilich. I think we're going to be hearing this name for many years to come. Gets the helmet off. Mamba, there's nothing like interviewing a first-time winner in the series.
First-time winner, Connor Zilich. This is a bad man right here. It seems like it doesn't matter what kind of car it is, you get in and you go fast. What is it like winning here at Dover? How do you feel right now, my friend?
Yeah, I can't even lie. Those first 70 laps, I was pretty intimidated. I was, you know, I was saying, oh, the car's free, and then we were sitting under red on the back straightaway, and I was like, damn, I just need to get on the gas. And, you know, Derek Nealand up on the spotter stand, Shane Huffman on the pit box, too. They did a great job keeping me in it. And, you know, I was down on myself there. I was running 5th, 6th, couldn't make any ground. And, you know, just so thankful for this entire team. Everyone at Chevrolet, Josh Wise, Scott Speed for preparing me for these moments. Those restarts were hectic, but we kept it up front and got ourselves a win here at the mile. What can you guys say?
Woo! Connor Zilich conquers the Monster Mile.
He's such a well-spoken young man. I think he's just a little pumped up. I love to hear the inside that he was doubting himself for some laps there because he wasn't leading early, took his time, methodically worked his way to the front.
I like the honesty, too.
Yeah, we talk about this racetrack can intimidate you, and he ran the first half of the race and said, man, I need to get with it.
Yeah, I really respect the honesty in that interview with as far as how difficult this place is and being able to kind of digest it all with himself, having those breaks, honestly, to really think about it, talk about it with his team, and then go out and execute when put in position. It's you know, a great victory for him, and it means a lot for these guys to win at tracks that the Cup Series races on, because these are places that you're going to have to be good. If Connor wants to go race in the Cup Series, he's got to get laps here. He's got to be good at tracks like this, and this might be the most intimidating that we get to go to. So starting off pretty good pretty early.
And I love it here. This victory lane is one of the most beautiful. Of course, there's flowers all over. And then you have Miles the Monster.
The Monster.
He's waiting for him in victory lane. And you guys here, if you win, you drive right on into victory lane, as he's going to do very proudly. So best career finish for Zilich as well as Ruggiero, second. LeVar Scott, best career finish of third. Costner, we talked about him and his cleaning company, 9th. Job well done.
Zachary Tinkle gets a top 10. Proud of that young man.
Great job for him. He gets the Spirit Award from General Tire today. Good run for him, and what a race. 8 caution laps. We're happy that you guys stuck with us. Always good to have you and your bow tie in the booth with us. Austin, love your insight.
I appreciate that. No, it's awesome to be able to cover this race and see these guys trying to figure this racetrack out for the first time for a lot of them. And it's a treacherous place, but yeah, great way to start off a great weekend of racing here at Dover.
We know you love it. Good luck Sunday.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Good luck to you tomorrow. There's Cup qualifying coming up at 10:30 Eastern. I know we'll see some shaky hands out there. Looking forward to that. Hope you guys all enjoyed the race broadcast. If you missed any of it or you simply want to watch it again, it's re-airing on FS1, so be sure to tune in to that. This place was fun. It's intense. I love to watch the comers and the goers. But Connor Zilich in the end gets it done for his team. For Shane Huffman, I think there's going to be a major celebration tonight. And there he is. There's Miles right over his shoulder. Kansas is our next race coming up next Saturday, 2 Eastern. That's on FS1. Tomorrow on FS1, Cup practice and qualifying at 10:30, as I mentioned. And the General Tire 150 this evening. Connor Zilich gets it done. Carson Quapple, what he overcame after the damage. Greg Van Alst finishes 8th after all he went through. Zachary Tinkle rounds out the top 10. Well, for Phil Parsons, Austin Cindric, Heather DeBoe, Mamba Smith, and all of us at Fox Sports, I'm Jamie Little. Thanks so much for being with us. Switch it on over to FS1 and watch the race in its entirety. Good night from Dover.